The street has been absolutely cleared out. Maybe on the ground you can see the remnants of the looting that took place on the street. I mean, look, there's Nike boxes. Obviously, businesses had been broken into, everything torn out. There's litter all over the street. I found myself in national news this week because I was detained and handcuffed while covering protests at Echo Park Lake. This is such a tight, unpredictable race, just with the major changes, Alex, that we saw in LA County voting. We've never had a race with this big of a turnout.
Detractors say that this is about electability, that the recall failed but still got nearly 26,000 signatures, and that this is a way for you to bow out on your own terms.
We're taking a deep dive on alleged gang-like activity among deputies inside the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Tattoos are a statement to the world, but inside the LA County Sheriff's Department, certain tattoos are shrouded in secrecy, alleged symbols of membership in violent deputy gangs. So when we tracked down an artist who confirmed he inked dozens of deputies with this Banditos tattoo, we agreed to protect his identity.
It's all the same tattoo, just the numbers are changed.
And over the course of 15 years, he said he's tattooed close to 40 members.
Somewhere around there, yeah.
Leading tonight's show, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti's future is up in the air. His nomination to be the next U.S. ambassador to India is on hold, while multiple senators investigate sexual harassment claims involving a top aide. Garcetti told me this week he was cleared by an independent investigation into whether aide Rick Jacobs sexually harassed a member of his security detail. But key whistleblowers who did not participate in that investigation are now talking to the Senate, saying the mayor saw what was happening and did nothing to stop it. While headlines scream his nomination to become the U.S. ambassador to India is in peril, Mayor Eric Garcetti is all smiles at local events. Confident with continued support from the White House, the Senate will confirm him soon.
We've had such great conversations, the backing of the White House, a unanimous vote out of committee, and I'm excited and feel the sense of urgency when we see the images coming out of Ukraine that we need an ambassador in India now.
His nomination has stalled amid allegations his former top aide Rick Jacobs sexually harassed staff members under his watch. His former director of communications, Naomi Seligman, said Garcetti's silence enabled Jacobs for years.
We again and again and again saw him doing it, kissing people on the lips, grabbing people from behind, making inappropriate comments in front of the mayor.
Jacobs has called the allegations pure fiction, and Garcetti maintains he was cleared by an independent investigation obtained by Spectrum News 1 that said this, quote, Mr. Jacobs never forcibly kissed anyone, either at work or at social events. However, Mr. Jacobs sometimes kissed others in greeting at social events, but the kissing was mutual. In Mr. Jacobs' experience growing up and as a gay man, kissing on the mouth was a common way to greet others. Seligman says when Jacobs kissed her in front of other staffers, it was not mutual, it was humiliating. In 2020, junior staffer Anna Barr texted her supervisors Jacobs abused and harassed her with kisses, squeezes, and crass sexual statements. When asked about the text, Barr told us, quote, while I was never sexually harassed by Rick Jacobs, I knew people who were, and I found him to be an abusive boss. I was aware of his reputation and discussed it with my immediate supervisors in the communications department, who described him as a liability, but did nothing. Seligman is represented by Whistleblower Aid, a nonpartisan nonprofit that supports individuals disclosing misconduct. Her lawyer, John Ty, confirms they've met with senators on both sides of the aisle.
Naomi's treatment by Rick Jacobs, by Mayor Garcetti, and by others in his office has been horrific.
In a brief interview last week, Garcetti falsely claimed the city report included sworn testimony that Seligman's claims are not corroborated.
The independent report is crystal clear, and 40 people under oath have been clear. And everybody who's worked under that person have been clear that that allegation absolutely did not happen.
Is your office still talking to the Senate then? Thank you.
An aide quickly ended the interview, and Garcetti went back to taking questions about city business and posing for photos. There's a reason she's called the Queen at Echo Park.
We are not looking for this life. We never wanted it.
And on Wednesday, Jessica Mendez vowed not to leave without a fight.
When I arrived from Mexico, my mother sold corn in that corner for 16 years. She was a very humble woman. We learn what it is to earn your daily bread when you're 5, when you're 6, when you're 7.
Mendez is a complicated story. She's undocumented, a former union worker who got hit by a car, leaving her unable to work full time, and is now part of a bustling homeless community, refusing to budge from one of the city's most beautiful parks. It's Wednesday, and with rumors swirling that Councilmember Mitch O'Farrell is about to shut down the park, LA's young organizing scene has arrived, trying to force a meeting.
It's not something that they want to redo the park. It's something that's political. It's a political game.
Councilmember O'Farrell is at City Hall. He's been wrestling with the situation at Echo Park for over a year. As the tents grew in number around the lake, so did the complaints. After 2 overdoses and 2 bodies discovered in the lake, he says the park needs $500,000 in repair.
And I want parents with their little kids to feel safe at the park. I want seniors to be able to walk around the pathway again. That's the environment that people expect, and that's the environment that we will provide once the park reopens for repairs.
As the Queen calls into the meeting,
Trying to take away the last little thing I have.
O'Farrell is denying an LA Times report that the park will be closed, the homeless expelled the next day.
I don't know where they got their source, but the LA Times has done some very curious reporting on the whole topic, so I don't know if I would trust their word.
6 hours later on Wednesday, hundreds of officers swarm Echo Park Lake, and the fence goes up. Councilmember Mike Bonin watched it happen in disbelief.
There was a hell of a big deployment for that. I don't know what intelligence they had that justified they needed, upwards of 100 cops in riot gear.
He'd had a similar situation in October at the Penmar Golf Course, a sprawling homeless community, upset neighbors, and a park in desperate need of repair.
The one thing I was pretty insistent upon is that we don't use LAPD as part of it, and we didn't.
They worked with neighbors to set a clear date, went section by section, and to this day, the fence is up.
If we repeat over the city what we just did over the past week in Echo Park, using LAP to close off every park, it would be the equivalent of martial law in the city of Los Angeles.
And when it came to shelter, to nearly 200 people, Echo Park was a success. Take Steve Woodson, who didn't look back as he went into Project Room Key.
It feels good. Like, I've been at the hotel for a week now, knowing that where I'm going, that I have some place to go, that's warm, secure, 3 hot meals and cable Wi-Fi. It's more than I could ask for,
But to organizers like Jed Perriott, the police presence only brought the threat of violence to this community.
You don't do outreach with a baton and a gun. That's trauma and handcuffs. You have to have a holistic way of approaching folks who are living outside. You have to meet people where they're at and understand that not everyone is the same. There's not a one-size-fits-all.
And in 2021, combine young outrage with a lot of cops, let the sun set, and in a flash, Thursday turned violent. Protesters purposefully egg on the officers, baiting them to expose the brutality of the system that funds them over social workers.
If it was the right thing to do, you wouldn't do it in the dead of night.
And in the end, the Queen of Echo Park did move into a hotel, but it wasn't paid for by the city, but through the charity of the activists fighting a system they intend to change.